gonna be really irritated if this woman is not gonna be a call back before you. But if she does answer you, when you call her, let me know.
Yeah. Get it.
We're gonna be sorry.
Yeah, you can bring the chair there just in case I do want to sit down, but no, I'll probably stand.
Camera.
See me, man. I was gonna say, let's work out.
Oh man, that looks so good. What is that? The nitro?
Nah, this one, I wanted to get the nitro, I couldn't get on Uber. This one's grande shaken espresso.
Ah, is that
I want that at Rosemont Health.
For you, man.
What she paid?
Here, I'll give you a try now.
I'm good, bro. Thank you.
It's really nice, they have a steamer. they have
Bro, you wanna try it?
sauna,
You wanna try it?
Basically
Try it.
everything
Try it.
you need, you got track. Yeah, I have a heavy bag.
Oh shit, bro. What is that?
What'd you get? Oh, no, it's like four pumps of espresso. in that bitch.
GR shaken
I'll be
espresso.
sweating here in a few minutes, man.
What'd you put in? Thanks, dude.
It's a grande shaken espresso with 4 pumps of espresso, 4 espresso shots, 1 pump of sugar-free vanilla.
So,
blonde
guys-
espresso. Well, I take a blonde roast, so it's like it's a little bit
Hey,
lighter.
How are
Hey,
you?
good, and you?
I'm good. Good to see you.
Awesome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What's up, Gina? What's up, Marissa? Hey, Sydney's
What up?
here.
Sydney.
Got the whole gang rolling in. How's everyone feeling this morning?
Excited, pumped
Sorry,
up.
sorry.
Excited for the day.
Let's try, I managed to do it, I can squat my body weight, so that's nice.
How are you, man?
How you doing?
Great, man. Great. Feeling good. I'm excited to be up here talking to you guys.
I know I had to see it for myself with my own eyes.
Appreciate that.
Sure. Now tell the truth, Thomas, did you wake up with your hair like that, or did that take some doing?
It takes some doing, man. It's a little bit of a process. I wish I could wake up and look like this, but no, not that way.
So it's like it's around for it.
My hair's like, keep my hair short, it's just like, oh, I'm gonna do a couple times, but I'm good to go.
I wish, man. I would. Yeah, I think so.
Well, it must take you like, what, 3 hours?
And not quite 3 hours. Takes me good 40 minutes. 40 minutes.
40 minutes?
If I want to come out
I
sharp.
didn't know better, I'd say you had to live in stylist.
He does himself.
Well, there you go. There you go.
It's a process. I have a whole like routine down for it, man. It's funny.
He's not the only
Hey,
one.
do you want to use this microphone?
Which one do you think would be better?
I think that one.
This one?
So it blocks out everybody surrounding.
I was actually his manager for. Really? Feel like you can. No. I wouldn't look like you.
Fresh Prince of Children. So
Might want to turn it off.
Yeah.
Let me know if that works.
Turn it off?
Turn it on this one.
It's gonna start coming down quick, eh? Just chill around.
Okay.
Chill around
That'll work.
quick, eh? Yeah. That's awesome. If I could grow it, I'd grow it.
I like to keep my hair short, I already feel like I need another haircut. You know, got a haircut a couple weeks ago.
Pat Sullivan's in the building, baby. Let's go.
What's up, man?
Jay Brax. Jay Brax.
All right, have fun.
Oh, we will.
Yeah.
We will. All right, you guys. We'll wait a couple more minutes here. See if anyone else wants to hop in. Virtual, can you guys hear me okay? Sounding good? Beautiful, okay. Awesome. How are you guys doing this morning though so far?
Good, man.
Decent?
How are you, bro?
I'm good, man, I'm good. You guys busting out some calls?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. All right, we'll give it a couple minutes here. Now, I had a plan on everything I want to go over today, but is there anything that you guys want to talk about first before I dive into that? Any questions that you guys might have right off the jump for me? Or should I just spit out the fire to you guys? What do you guys want? Spit out the fire? Okay, we'll spit out the fire. We got some questions on virtual? No questions? All good? Hold on, I can't hear. How can I hear virtual?
Actually, Tommy, I do have one.
Okay. What's up, Marissa?
Hi. I was wondering about when you get POS and there's only like a Head Start in there, and the Head Start is like 23 or 24 years old now, and it's like the owner is like they're obviously the parent. Just like trying to run those and basically like trying to ease into like pitching the whole life to the parent. But really the POS is like the Head Start for the kid who's now like grown up now, but he's not the owner of the policy, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, you kind of broke up. It's like our connection's slow here, of course. So you're kind of breaking up. Did you say Head Start?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Head
for
Start policy.
POS, like POS that have really the only thing that's on the POS like thing like on the lead is the Head Start.
Gotcha.
I mean,
Okay.
like and the Head Start now, like that child is like 20 something years old now, but they're not an adult. So like it's really just like, do you add more coverage like onto the Head Start, or like can you just try to like pitch to like the owner of the policy? But all the times that I've done that, like they've already had coverage, and that's why they only had coverage for the kid.
No, yeah. So what I would do in that situation, obviously, if they're not like an adult yet and they can't get like, it would be nice if it was a Head Start and now they're like 18 or 20 or something like that. But if they're not in that situation, what route I would take is I would kind of see why the parent or the owner didn't get insured. So I would try to figure out because whoever sat down with them probably might not done a good job. So they haven't sat down with you. So maybe, or they weren't in a position to qualify before or afford it before back when they got that Head Start. And now maybe they're in a better situation. I would still try to pitch them. I'll try to pitch them, but at least you could get the kids more coverage for sure.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome, no problem. Moolah Mace, Money Mace. I can't see you, man.
What's good with the bull?
What's good, bro?
Nah, bro, I'm just calling this client. I didn't want to interrupt.
No worries. Okay, guys. Well,
you young John.
Ready to get started?
Get it.
I only got an hour here with you guys. We're at 55 minutes. I need every minute I can get with you guys real quick. So what I want to talk about today, so I was kind of trying to figure out really what I wanted to go over with you guys today. And there's not one area that I really like stood out to me. I just want to talk about here for an hour. So what I want to kind of do is kind of go throughout that whole presentation, bits and pieces, like little tips I can give you guys throughout the whole presentation. Something that's obviously gonna be nothing you guys haven't heard before, probably basic stuff, but maybe something that we could all use a refresher on, right? Does that make sense, you guys? For sure. Okay, cool. So we'll go into that. Now, one thing I do want to start off by asking you guys is this word right here. Okay. Can you guys see that? Virtual, can you see that? Okay. All right. So what I want to pick on right now. Papa Andres.
Yes, sir.
What is a closer?
Closer?
What is a closer?
Well, it's all starting with the C, right? To be able to have control,
Mm-hmm.
be able to, it starts from the phones.
Starts from the phones. Exactly right. Now, closer, you guys, is someone, at least in the business, who's good at what they do, right? They make sales, they're closing consistently. But a closer, I don't think just correlates to the business. I think if you're a closer, if you're a real closer, it's going to translate outside the business, right? And I'm sure a lot of us read Sell or Be Sold, familiar with that. Everything in life is a sale. Whether we're going, shaking someone's hand, meeting them for the first time, you're making a first impression, taking a girl out on a date, that's a sale. If you're a closer, it's not just in the business, it's everywhere. It's everywhere in life. You move differently when you're a closer, right? Look at Gio, for example. He's the man, big time closer, right? He walks with a little bit more swagger, a little more presence. He's got an aura around him because he's in that mindset. All of us need to stay in a closer's mindset, okay? Now, what is a closer's mindset? Closer's mindset is being in a mindset where you can't be stopped. You just can't, You know, you get what you need to get done and you do it the way you need to do it. Right. Now, the biggest thing is we all have that in us. Everyone here in this agency, we're all studs, superstars. We all got it. The one thing that is different is our consistency with staying in that mindset, right? We all stray away, even myself. You know, sometimes I'm in that zone where I can't be stopped, but there's days where I'm just not, I'm a little bit out of it, maybe a little more anxious on certain days, feeling down, you know, feeling tired, you know. So one way to stay in that mindset consistently and try to get like how Gio does, he doesn't have an off switch, man. That boy does not have an off switch. He's going 24/7, you know. So to stay in that mindset, it's really going to come down to, we all know, mind, body, and spirit. Right? Those three things, you can never stray away from those three things in this business, no matter what. Because otherwise, if you start lacking on your mind, body, or spirit, you're going to burn out. You're just going to burn out naturally. This business is nonstop. You're always on the go, and you need to keep your mind right. You need to keep your body right. You also need to keep your spirit right too, because belief is going to go a long way. What is sales? It's a transfer of belief. Exactly. You know, so it's all going to come down to it. So staying in that mind, body, spirit. Now, what are you guys doing for your mind, body, and spirit? Are you guys working out 3, 4, 5 times a week?
6 times.
6. Love to hear, bro. That's what I love to hear, man. Keep it up, dude. Keep doing that, because it's just gonna make you feel better. How good do you feel when you walk out the gym?
Better than I ever do.
That, you know, it's just your mind's clear. It's not even just so much for the body, right? I kind of work out more for my mind. You know, it gets all those demons out, you can say. You know, it clears your head. You're in a better space. You feel a little more confident, and bringing that into your sit, it's game over. That's when you get the big checks, you know? So for sure. So that'd be body. Now, how do you work on your mind? Are you guys reading audiobooks, YouTube University? You guys can go on there anytime and learn literally anything you want at the tip of your fingers. Just go on there at least once a day. Discipline yourself to watch like a 30-minute video on something that you want to learn about. It doesn't have to be about life insurance. There's a lot in this business to learn besides universal term life, whole life. This business is about reading people skills, how to interact with people, how to be a leader, right? A bunch of things that we all need to learn consistently, because, you know, just like for life, when you get your license, for example, right? There's continuing education. Education here doesn't stop. You constantly have to be learning. Your brain is a muscle, just like no different than your biceps. You know, if you're not working it out consistently, it's gonna die. If you're not growing, you're dying. You know, so that right there. And then spirit. Spirit can be anything for really anyone. If you're a religious person, you know, go to church, you know, whatever you guys believe in, but whatever it is, you know, just kind of focus on it too much. You don't have to be obsessed with it, you know, but at least get a little bit in there to get your spirit right. You know, you got to be in a positive mindset in this. People can feel, our clients can feel if we're not in that mindset. They can feel if we're a little bit down. They can feel our energy through Zoom. Even so much if you're doing in-homes. If you're doing in-homes, anyone in here doing in-homes? Even more important. If you're walking into someone's home, you need to walk in there with a presence that cannot be stopped. You have to. You have to be you have to own their home. You're walking in there, you walk in the home, you own their home at that point. You know, but the only way to do that is you can consistently stay in that mindset. Right? Does that all make sense to you guys?
Yes.
With me? Beautiful. Okay. So that's that right there. But now let's dive into the presentation. Okay. So if I had to ask you guys, where does closing start in the presentation or in the appointment? Where would you guys say?
Report.
First 30 seconds. Good answer. Rapport. Okay. Anyone else? Virtual?
On the phones.
Wait, who said that?
On the phones.
That was the answer I wanted. It's on the phones. It's on the phones. Closing starts on the phones. You guys have to realize this is the very first time that they're hearing your voice, the very first time you're talking to them. All right. Even if they're not looking at you, you can only make that first impression once. Right. You're giving them on that phone call, you're giving them an expectation of what they're going to expect when they sit down with you. Right. So it all starts on the phones. Hold on, what I got right here. You know, and one thing I do want to mention, you guys have to bring the same energy on the phones as you do in your sit. You have to be consistent with it. If you're going to be loud and hyper on the phones, let's say you're having a real good day, you're jacked up on call night. If you're calling like that, you better make sure when you hop in that sit, you're bringing that same energy too, because that's what they're expecting when you end that call with them. On the other hand, though, if you're calling, you're a little bit down, you're not in the mode too much, you might have to translate that into the sit, because if you do that and then hop on the sit and you're jumping out the screen, hey, what's up, you guys, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be like, what the hell's going on? You know, just stay consistent with them, because you got to realize as soon as they hang up that call, they're having an expectation on how this sit's going to go. They're expecting that. Just like when we have a good lead, you know, you get off a good call, Maybe it was like an SEIU member booking, oh, this is a sale for sure. I'm sure we've all had that, right? Same thing for them. You get off the call on them, they're like, oh man, is this another one of these sales things? Oh my God, this try to sell me. But if you make that right first impression, they're gonna be excited. Give them something to look forward to. You know, that's the biggest thing on the phones for sure. Now, one thing I do want to say is remember that these guys are busy too. So obviously we prioritize, you know, making sure that we remember that we're busy, we're important, and we're in control, you know, but they're people too. They work jobs, and they work jobs, I think, probably a lot harder than we do. I don't think any of us want to be out there slapping pavement or plumbing or, you know, doing all this kind of stuff that they got to do. So remember that they're busy too, and we have to give them something to look forward to, you know, so end that call in an excited manner, you know. Mary, Joe, I am so excited. You know, I'm really looking forward to getting you guys caught up with all the other members. Now, I'm really looking forward to, I will see you guys Friday between 6 and 7 right on the dot. I will be there in that waiting room waiting for you guys. Boom. Have a great rest of your day. Excited. Bring your tone up at the end of the call. But now, another thing, find what works for you on the phone, right? So we basically all use the same phone script, right? I mean, the teams are probably a little bit different, but they're all about the same, you know. But just, it's not really what you say in this business, it's how you say it. What's up, brother?
Thomas, I don't want to interrupt too much here, but just for your disembarking, you're talking about leaving your person on the phone. Is there a particular one that you like or recommend? Yeah, I say cheers to people, for example.
Okay.
That's kind of my jam.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool, bro. That's cool.
This one is distinctive, it's memorable, right?
Yeah.
I like it. But is there something, do you think that's too formal, too informal? Or you say, hey, I'm looking forward to seeing you. I never say goodbye. That's the one I don't use.
Yeah, that's good. No, cheers is good, you know, and that's what I was kind of getting to next is like, you know, find what works for you, you know, because if that's kind of how your personality, if you're going to be able to like, you know, bring that same personality and that sit with them, it works, man. You just got to stay consistent with it, you know, so I 100% I'll roll with that. That's no problem there. Yeah, so cater towards your personality on the phone, you know, so I'm not sure, have you guys heard Matt Brown on the phone?
Yep.
Yeah, I think everyone in this office can hear Matt Brown on the phone. You know, so the way Matt Brown makes those calls on the phone is probably not the same way I'm making the call on the phone. You know, I'm not that loud. I'm not that funny over the phones. I can't build that good of a rapport like Matt Brown can. You know, so instead of me taking that route, I'm taking the route where I'm just going to be very professional, keep it simple, keep it clean, and make sure that they understand that we're doing business. You know, but it works for either way because both calls work. He's able to set the appointments, get them to show up. I'm able to set the appointments, get them to show up, and we're basically saying the same words, just a couple of different words in between. You know. Another thing, this is something I'm huge on. I'm sure you guys have all heard this before. Never run one legs. Do not book a one leg. Don't ever, 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 ever run a one leg. It is a waste of a lead. It's a waste of Tommy Vina's money. It's a waste of your time, and it's a waste of our time. Okay. So now how do you avoid booking one legs? To do that, you need to ask for a spouse multiple times. Don't just use the script where you're asking for a spouse, you know, ask multiple times. So like, for example, this is a big one too. Hard cards. So for example, are you guys asking for spouses even if the beneficiary is not a spouse? Beautiful. You guys are asking. Okay, good. Always. Because I think that's something a lot of people forget. Sometimes you'll see like a hard card. It'll be like a mom born in 74 with her beneficiary as her daughter. A lot of people, especially new trainees, they might forget to ask if there's a spouse in the picture as well. Sometimes that mom just wants that money to go to her kids, you know, but she might have a husband too who needs to make these decisions with her. You know, so that's super important. Ask about that. Child safety kits, how would you ask for that? Now, Mary and Joe, it's just our job to deliver and explain the child safety kit and go over that family protection program to you and your spouse. Mary, are you married by chance? Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, so we'll definitely need him to be there as well. It's just company requirements that we do have both spouses there who are responsible for the child, so we don't have to have any issues down the road, right? Will kits. Will kits are a little bit easier because you obviously know if they request 2 will kits, one of them is probably for the spouse, right? Even though take it a little bit, take an extra step just to be sure. You don't, because already getting a will kit on Zoom is hard enough, you know, so you don't want to go through the whole process and then end up being a one leg, you know, you just wasted 45 minutes of your time. So to do that, what I do, if they requested 2 will kits, I'll call them. I'll be like, Mary, Joe, I'm looking at the form you filled out online and I see that you requested 2 will kits. Mary, I'm assuming one's for you and one's for the spouse. Confirm. Like, yeah, because sometimes it could be a daughter getting for her and her mom. You never know, that there's situations. Now, if you see they just requested 1. Mary, now I'm looking at the form you filled out online and I see that you just requested 1 will kit. Is that correct, or do you need another for a spouse? Right? Because sometimes they think 1 will kit is good for the whole couple. You guys gotta realize that, you know, so just ask them that a couple of times just to be sure, it doesn't hurt. All right, any questions there?
No.
Okay. Now, next up, solidifying. We all solidify, you need to solidify, show ratio is key. It's great to book appointments, but there is no point in booking all these appointments if they're not gonna show up. We're burning the leads at that point, you guys. We need to stay on top of getting these people to show up, right? Because you already know, you book them once, show ratio's here. You book them twice, drops down here. You book them 3 times, no, I wouldn't even really count on them showing up. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they can turn it, they could zits, but that's just how the numbers play out. Now, another thing, always say at the end of your call, I look forward to getting you caught up with all the other members, right? Why do we want to say this? Because it puts these people in a group that is behind. They're behind, getting you caught up with all the other members. They're not with all the other members. They need to get caught up. No one wants to be in a group that is slacking, that is behind. They want to be in that group. It's going to entice them a little bit more to show up to the meeting and get that done. All right, you guys. Any questions on phones? Do you guys have any questions on the phones at all? Anything I can answer for you real quick, my man?
For the will kit,
Mhm.
child safe kit, you guys mentioned, I think you mentioned that the family protection plan, like you guys do the funeral protection plan too with the will kits. How do you bring that up on the phones on your guys' team?
So on the phones, so tricky. So I would say, okay, so Mary, so the will kit is gonna be a 2-part program. First part of the program is gonna make sure all your, what's the word? I think it's all your, blah, 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 I'm blanking right now. Make sure all your final wishes are taken care of, okay? And then the second part of the program is gonna ensure that all your financial wishes are carried out as well, right? So you give them their final wishes, you know, the funeral, all that kind of stuff, where they want their stuff to go. Second part, that's gonna make sure their financial wishes are taken care of as well. You know, so that's gonna be getting them some insurance, making sure their family's good.
You guys do mention the 2-part program on the phone. You're not only talking about the child safety or the
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You guys do that as well? A little bit, yeah, okay.
Some of us do, some of us don't.
Okay, yeah. You can play around with it, you know, and you guys already know child safety kits will, because they're going to be more volume leads, right? They're going to be, you need to call a lot of them to get a few of them, you know, so don't stress too much about them. You want to do it right. You want to make sure you solidify with them. If you can get an appointment set with them, at least make sure they show up, because you probably called about 50 to 60 of them for them to answer, you know what I'm saying?
5 for 1 slot and 1 will show up.
That's how it is, man, for sure. All right, you guys. So that's right there. That would be phone tips. Now, if we're all good on the phones, the next thing I want to go over is pre-presentation. So after you book that appointment, up until you see that appointment. So let's say you set them on a Monday night and you have a sit with them today at 5 o'clock, right? What are you doing from that time you booked that appointment up until that sit? There's certain things that you guys need to be doing. Now, one thing I will recommend for you guys, and I'm sure all of us do, everyone in here use Calendly? Calendly, okay. So Calendly is great, but I would highly recommend getting in the routine of personally texting all your appointments first thing in the morning. Not Calendly doing it, you doing it, right? So the reason I think that is, you know, Calendly, let it send all the emails, but a personal message from you first thing in the morning is a lot harder to no-show than an automated system texting them, right? It's showing them that you're on it. You're on it. Mary, I know I'm seeing you today at 4 o'clock, at 7 o'clock in the morning when I texted you. Yeah, I know it. And the reason you want to do it first thing in the morning, not just a couple hours before the appointment, is because if they do forget about the appointment, they're already making plans by 2, 3 o'clock. You know, they already got dinner planned out with their husband, boyfriend, whatever it may be. Hit them first thing in the morning, then they're going to stay true to their word that, damn, yeah, I did book that appointment. I booked that appointment right. Yeah, I gotta show up. You know, so just put it in your routine, roll out of bed, turn on your sign, text your appointments, get up, get ready. You know, so keep Calendly using the emails, but I would really recommend personally sending those text messages yourself. It can go a long way, and it takes 5 minutes. So if it can increase your show ratio by 1%, what's 5 minutes really going to do? So I would say about 8:30. Yeah, 8:30 is a good time to text them.
What are you saying in your text?
My text, let me pull it out here.
Hey, Steve with American Income, looking forward to seeing you today at this time.
Yes, I'm gonna pull one up for you guys right here. Okay, I got one. Okay, this would be for a hard card. So I said, hello, Rudy. This is Thomas with American Income, handling your benefits through Local 1546. Just reaching out to remind you about our appointment today via Zoom at 6 p.m. Make another paragraph. The link will be in your email. I look forward to meeting with you and your spouse then. If they have a spouse, make sure you toss the spouse in that text message. Just reassure one more time that the spouse is going to be there. Okay? That help though?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Got that done. Next, review preview with your manager before sitting. All right. So if you're newly released, I think you got to be doing this for any kind of sit, whether it's a child safety kit, hard card, will kit, whatever it is. If you've been released for a while, definitely still with the POS sits always. POS are our most valuable leads that we have. And there's a lot of different angles that people in the business, even myself, only been in here for a year. There's still certain angles I don't even know how to approach some POS. So I'll go to my managers, because they've been doing this for a while. They know how to get that paid up, that cash value, all this on point, where it's almost impossible for that POS to say no. That's why POS closed so high, is because they already got this coverage, but we're just making the coverage that they already wanted. We're making it even better. So you just got to make sure you game plan it right. Use your manager, use your resources. Everyone in is here to help. Another little tip, I got this from Josh a little while back. And this one is make at least 5 calls before your appointment. Let's say you have 15, 20 minutes before you're sitting down with someone. Let's say you sit down with someone at 5, it's 4:40. Just get on your phone, get on Impact and just bust out 5 quick calls, right? What's that's going to do? Maybe you're going to get someone on the phone, you're going to book an appointment. There's no better feeling than booking an appointment right before a sit. You just replace that. You replace that sit. You save yourself an hour of work right there, especially before you hop in a sit. Also, what it's calling a little bit, what does it say on here? One second, guys. All right. Can you guys still hear me okay? Okay, cool. Yes, so text them 5 minutes before it's going to get you in the mode, just like kind of presenting, because on the phones, it's almost, you're kind of talking the same way as you would in a presentation, so it's going to get you in the mode, it's going to get you warmed up, it's going to get your tone right, your voice right, get you feeling good. And on top of that, if you book an appointment, you just replace that sit too. All right, does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So that's pre-presentation right there. We're going to fly through this because man, if you guys can see all that shit I got typed out for you guys, this is funny. All right, we're going to fly. Okay. So intro is the most important part of your entire presentation. I don't care what anyone says, it is everything, all right? Because if you cannot make them understand why we're sitting down with them today, anything that you say after that does not matter. It's going in one ear, out the other. If you cannot make it clear when they get on why they're sitting down with us, you have to make it worth their time. You have to make them realize why we're here. Now, another thing, before you can even get into that, you have to build rapport, right? So rapport is huge. You can never skip it, never just not think about it. It's huge. You got to get to know them a little bit. You need to make them feel comfortable, right? They're obviously, if you're a little bit nervous, you think they're nervous too, like a little uneasy in the stomach. Yeah, that's how they're feeling, so build rapport. But another thing I'll toss in here is don't try to overdo it, right? Don't really try to overdo it, because you got to realize if you're sitting down with someone at 5, 6, 7 o'clock, they're just getting off work after a long day. Sometimes even myself at the time, I don't want to do no small talk with anyone when I get home after work, what I'm saying? So they're the same way. They're not always going to want to be about the small talk, so get a little bit to them, but if you could just gauge how they're vibing with it. If they're not really vibing with theirs, if Paul's back there sitting like this and he's yeah. Then all right, be like, okay, Paul, blah, blah, get to it. Because the cool thing is you're going to keep building rapport throughout your presentation. That's why all these no cost benefits that we give to them, that's where they're designed. They're designed to build more rapport. They all have the function, we'll get to that in a little bit. Active listening during rapport is a must. Active listening is just going to make your job a whole lot easier when you're in rapport. Because all you have to do at that point is just repeat right back to them what they said to you. That's it. And you're talking to them, Mary, you're moving next week. Oh, you're moving next week. 2 weeks? Really? Oh my gosh, that must be crazy. Are you busy? And she's gonna rant about how she's busy. Like, oh, Mary, I just moved last year. Oh, it was crazy. I don't even know how I did it. We did it in 1 week. It was crazy. It was hectic. And just roll with it, But just listen to them, because they want you to realize that you're listening to them. All right. So just like you want them to listen to you, listen to them a little bit and just show them you care. Next up, your intro needs to be strong, clear, and professional. It has to be on point. All right, even with my dudes, I will sit them down and I will make sure their intro is verbatim by word to the T every single time they say it. If it's not on T, we'll go through it until they get it right. It has to be perfect. Now, another thing in that intro, this is huge. Take all the pressure off you right in the beginning in that intro and put it on the unions. Put it all on the unions, man. Take it all off you and put it on the unions. right? You are just there to enroll them in their benefits. All right. So play that role. Play that role as a benefits representative. Don't play that role as a salesman. You know, we're just there to enroll them in the benefits. We're doing what we're told by the unions to do. They contract with us. We have a reason to be there, and we're going to get them the benefits that they filled out the card and sent back to us. Okay. What's up, brother?
So on that note, lately, what I've been running a lot of referrals.
Okay.
And then a lot of like child saves or wills.
Mhm.
And so the trouble I have in those sits is because obviously the hard parts, like you said, like put it back on the union. Like, do you understand what a union says we have to see this covered in it? Or the union set this up for you? But with referrals and basically anything that isn't a union sit, I feel myself kind of floundering because I don't have the union to fall back on. So how do I take the pressure off myself in like a referral sit? Because I'm running a lot of those lately.
Yeah. Now where is it in the sit that it's that there's like pressure on you and that you wouldn't be able to toss on? Like what area is
I
it?
feel it most in the needs analysis.
Okay.
Because at least on, it's like, it's, you see why the union has to see its members have their funeral covered today. It's like, I can't just say like the union has to see with this. That's why I've just been swapping out the union with we, because I'm not sure what else to put there.
Nationwide recommendation.
Nationwide, right?
Nationwide recommendation. That's why I go to for income protection, funeral fund expense, especially if you can't toss on the union. Mary and Joe, this is nationwide recommendation for everyone to have at least 30,000 guaranteed whole life set aside for the funeral. God forbid if you were to pass away now or 20 years down the road. Income protection, 3 to 5 years. Mary, nationwide recommendation for everyone to have at least 3 to 5 years of the income protected, just to give their loved ones time to adjust to that new lifestyle, right? And then it makes sense to them a little bit, you know. So I'll keep that in your back pocket for sure.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that. Thank you.
No problem, brother. Virtual, how we doing? You guys good? Okay, I don't want to forget about you guys. If you guys say it, just blurt it out at me, man. I'm listening. You guys can cut me off whenever. Okay, got that. All right, so next, ask them what happens to their workplace benefits once they quit, get fired, retire. So you know in that part in the intro where it says, now Mary and Joe, typically we work our whole lives for these great workplace benefits. You know, but Mary, you know, what happens to those workplace benefits soon as we quit, get fired, retire? Don't answer it for them. Don't say they go away. Ask them the question and shut up and just don't talk. Make them answer. You make them say, if they're not listening, if they're not just not paying attention, sit back for a second. Mary, did you hear me okay? No? Okay, I'll repeat yeah. So Mary, I was asking, you know, those workplace benefits you get, you know, like good health insurance, and good life insurance. What happened? Do you know what happens to those as soon as you quit, get fired, or retire? She's like, yeah, I think they go away, Thomas. Yep, you're exactly right. They go away. And that's exactly why these unions contract with us and us directly to provide you guys with permanent and portable benefits that will stick with your families forever. Meaning, Mary, if you were to stay with that union forever, retire with them, or if you want to leave them tomorrow, these benefits will always be there for you and your family, 100% guaranteed. Okay, that right there. Next one, a little tip I'll give to you. So this is something I'm not sure if you guys do this, but in that 2-part program slide, you know, it says first part of the program, no cost benefits. The union has already set up for you. Second part is the more permanent portable benefits. What I say in this situation, I say, so Mary and Joe, the second part of the program are going to be those more permanent and portable benefits that the union recommends their members to enroll in. All right, really, Mary, it's just my job to educate you on that. If it fills a need for you, then we can see if you can qualify today. Boom. The union recommends you enroll in. They contract with us for a reason. They recommend their members to get our benefits. So uses that.
Once again from there, if it's not a union leave, what will you say that? Like what you was asking earlier, Steve. You would say nationwide recommendation there.
No. So you would say, so for like a child safety kit lead for the 2-part program, Mary, second part of the program will be that union-backed permanent benefit program. You know, yeah, I guess you couldn't really use the union recommends you enroll in that one. It'll kind of be a little bit different on that. But with those, you kind of really have to build up the exclusive. I get thank you. Yeah, that's the word. Yes, that word. Yes, that's the kind of angle you got to take. You know, hard cards you could put on the union, but those you got to build up the exclusiveness of our products. You know. Any questions there though, you guys? With me? Beautiful. All right. So next, let's jump into the no costs. Okay. So we have to remember the no costs are all designed for a reason, right? We are not no cost delivery men. That's not what we're here for. They're designed, this whole presentation is psychologically designed to get us a yes at the end, if you do it right. This presentation is We've been using the same presentation for a long, long time. There's a reason we keep using the same presentation. You guys have to use it the right way. CSK, so we'll start with the child safety kits. What is this designed for? Does anyone have a guess?
Referrals.
My man, right there. This is strictly designed for referrals. It's also good to build more rapport. Why? Because you're gonna get these parents talking about their children. Every parent loves their children more than anything in the world. They're gonna be a little more open to talking about that. You get to learn a little bit more about the kids, ask them a little bit more about the family. If you couldn't get those family questions out of them when you're building rapport in the intro, this would be a good time to pull that out. Mary, does your brother have any kids? Do you have a brother? Does he have any kids? Oh my gosh, do the nieces, you guys get to hang out, stuff like that? And just keep rolling like that. Okay. Now another tip with the child safety kit is make it clear to them that the child safety kit stays with them. I think a lot of people have a misunderstanding that once they fill out this child safety kit, they have to send it back to us with all their personal information. And that's when they put up that wall and they get very closed off, right? So make it clear, Mary and Joe, this is gonna be a resource that you guys keep on you at all times. And God forbid, if there were ever an emergency and your kid were to go missing, you would take this resource, turn it in, the authorities actually knock off 3 to 5 hours it would take for the police to gather all the information. Not only that, Mary, as soon as you turn it in, it's automatically going to activate Amber Alert as well. Just make it clear, because some people are just not listening. If they're not listening right, they could take it the wrong way, and the next thing you know, they think we're some weird company who wants their kids' information, DNA, fingerprints. I don't know what's going on with that, but I've heard it. Okay, now we'll jump to AIL Plus. So what is the AIL Plus card designed to do? Referrals. Yes, and a good one. But also, this is designed to build value. Out of all the no-cost benefits that we have, this one is the one that brings value to them. It catches their attention because why? It saves them money. And we have to use that. You have to use this value in that. Build it up, hype it up. It's going to save them money. You got to remember, all the people that we're sitting down with, I wouldn't necessarily say they have the best healthcare, right? Some of these people, maybe especially the SEIU members, they do not have the best healthcare, right? So this is something, that can really, stand out to them. So might as well use it to your advantage. What else do I have on that one? Build up the value and exclusivity to get referrals, just like you were saying, man. Especially if you couldn't get referrals off the child safety kit, and let's say they didn't have kids or they just weren't budgeted on giving anything, pound the referrals on the AIL Plus card. But also you want to keep it exclusive at the same time. I'm not sure how many other teams, how many referrals you guys get on other teams. Over here, I kind of like to make it only 5 for the AIL Plus card. You want to keep it exclusive somewhat. I'm not giving out to 10 people. There's no exclusivity in that. You know what I'm saying? So 5 people, I'll get their number 5, they're the top 5 people. Those are also going to be the top 5 closest people to them. Easier to sell, easier referrals to close, right? All good virtual? Beautiful. Okay. All right. Family information guide. Oh man, I could talk about the family information guide for hours. I'm not even joking. So this is by far the most important tool that you have to learn everything you need to know for your pitch. If you don't do your family information guide, if you skip through this, if you blow through this, then you're missing out on a lot of information that's just going to make your pitch a whole lot easier, right? So this piece of paper right here, this is strictly designed for us to learn what we need to do to pitch them, right? That is exactly why estate information, this family information guide should literally just be estate information if you want me to be honest with you. It's the most important part. Now, to get them open about sharing information with you on this, you're going to have to make sure your tone and your verbiage is on point. You can't come at them in an intruding way, I would say. You have to be more in a way where you're trying to guide them. You want to be a professional in here. You just want to look out for them and not really try to intrude too much. So it's all about the way you're asking the questions, right? So for example, estate information. When you get to estate information, are you guys just asking, now Mary Jo, do you have any permanent life insurance? Is that what you guys ask? Do you guys go a little bit farther? Yeah. Good. All right. So the way I would ask, so I get on estate information. Mary Jo, next section, estate information. Okay. So this is by far the most important section on this entire document. Okay. Mary, this is where you guys are going to put all the permanent life insurance policies that you guys have, either through work, outside of work, any life insurance policy, put it in this section right here. Now we are super big on this section, you guys, because last year alone, over $1 billion of life insurance went unclaimed, right? Simply because families just didn't know what they had, how to access it, or how to find it, right? Now we want to make sure we do our part, make sure that does not happen to any of our members. Now, Mary Jo, do you guys know who you have your permanent life insurance through? Is it just through work or do you guys not have any yet? I hit them with all three. Ask them all three. Because if you just ask them if they have permanent life insurance, you're going to get a yes or no answer, right? Find out if it's just because if they think they got permanent life insurance, it could just be through work and they're just getting the whole wrong idea. So I want to clarify all three. So let's say,
Sorry,
ask them that. And then,
we're sorry to interrupt. Really fast, what are the three things you asked them one more time?
yeah, so I'll say, so Mary and Joe, this is where you're going to put all the permanent life insurance policies that you guys have through work. Now we're super big on section, blah, blah, blah. We want to make sure we do our part and making sure that does not happen to any of our members. Now, Mary and Joe, do you guys know who you have your permanent life insurance through? Is it just through work or do you guys not have any yet? And now when you ask this question, you have to ask it in the right tone. In a concerned, low, like play around with your voice a little bit here. Lower it down a little bit, like you're curious, like you want to make sure that you're trying to help them, right? So now, Mary and Joe, do you guys know who you have your permanent life insurance through? Is it just through work or do you guys not have any yet? And they'll answer and they'll tell you exactly what you need to know. And what they tell you after that is very important. So let's say I ask someone that and they say, Thomas, I think I just have it through work. Let's just say this, that. Great. Okay, Mary. So for work coverage, you're going to place that on the bottom two lines. Okay, kind of where it says group coverage. All right, you're just going to put company name, policy number. Mary and Joe, you guys don't have to worry about the amount section because obviously we know as soon as we quit, get fired, retire, all that coverage goes away, right? So not if, but when you get some permanent coverage, you will place that on the top four lines, company name, policy number, and the face amount in that policy that your family is guaranteed to receive. Okay. Now let's run it back. Let's say I ask them that question and they say, Thomas, I think I have permanent coverage. I'll ask them, okay, it's outside of work. And they're like, yeah. I'll be like, okay, now, Mary and Joe, do you guys know if that is that term policy or is that a whole life policy? Right. And let's say they say term. I'll be like, okay, Mary and Joe. Great. So for that term policy, you're going to place that on the bottom two lines. Okay. Kind of where it says group coverage. You're going to put company name, policy number. You don't have to worry about that amount section because obviously, as we know, with term policies, once that term ends, that coverage is no longer there. It's not permanent. So Mary Jo, not if, but when you get some permanent coverage, placed on the top four lines, company name, policy number, base amount of that policy right there, right? If you ask them that question, they say don't have any coverage, you just hit them straight with, all right, Mary, not if, but when you get some permanent coverage, placed on the top four, company name, policy number, face amount in that section right there. All right, does that make sense, you guys? Bueno, okay.
And now what if they were to have permanent insurance?
Permanent coverage, okay, so with that, it's kind of hard because I never want to take their word on it that's 100% whole life, so if I can see I can get the info out of them, I'll ask them a few more questions. I'll be like, so let's say I ask them and they say, yeah, Thomas, I have some permanent coverage. I'll be like, okay. Now, do you know if that's a whole life or a term life? She'd be like, I think it's a whole life. That's usually what it's. I think it's whole life. I'd be like, okay, Mary. Now roughly, do you know how much you're paying a month on that? Because I could probably give you a good idea if it's a term or if it's a whole life policy. And if they hit you with like a $40, $50 premium, that's when I would try to talk to them. Be like, Mary, I hope it's whole life. I really do hope it's whole life, but it might be term or it might be like a universal policy. But we'll dive into that a little bit later, right? But if they're confident that they have whole life, then just kind of direct them the right way. Place it on the top four lines: company name, policy number, and the face amount of that policy, right? So that is that. And then you guys already know financial institution information. We need to find out if they have a bank. If they don't have a bank, there's not much we can do unless they're good at making them make a bank account, but I haven't really been too smooth with that one yet. So the way you ask that, now Mary and Joe, I'm assuming you guys have a checking or a savings account. Don't just ask them, Mary and Joe, do you have checking, savings? I'm assuming you have a checking or savings account. Okay. What's up, bro?
I just want to add to the bit about the financial institution. What I started doing, because the other week I went to the bank. I was like, yeah, you have a bank account, right? He's like, yeah, I've got a bank account. I was like, okay, great. And then I get to the deal. Let's go to banking. All right, what bank do you use? Chime. So when they say, yeah, I have a bank account, what I've been doing is like, oh, use Chase Bank like everybody else, just make it real.
That's smart. That's smart. Yeah, Chase, PNC, Bank of America. And I toss out some options right there.
Yeah.
And if you could get them to tell you your bank, it'd be even better. That'd be great. Because that is true. Because Chime is a bank. But not a bank that we accept, unfortunately. I wish. Fingers crossed we will do that one day, man. That'd be. Man, we'd be making some serious sales if we could get some Chime accounts on here. But it's good for retention, so we won't worry about it. All right, you guys. But any questions on the no cost? No, we're all good. Okay. So next in part would be that term versus whole. All right. So now this is where you really show them that you are the professional that you say you are. All right. So this is where, typically in my presentation, I'll slow it down a little bit. Have you guys ever heard one of my presentations? And for the first half, I am flying through that shit so quick. You guys don't even know. I'm making sure they understand it, obviously, but I'm quick. I'm not going to sit down with someone for 3, 4, 5 hours, especially on the no cost, right? I don't want to wear them out. I don't want to wear the brain out, wear the energy out on the no cost right before when I'm starting to get into the important stuff. So I'll speed through everything, but I get to term versus whole and I'll slow it down just a little bit. Now, when we're teaching term versus whole, we have to teach them as if we're teaching a 5-year-old. Keep it very, very simple. Don't overcomplicate it, all right? Don't lose them. Because at the same time, when you're teaching this to them, you want them to interact with you. You want them to be able to interact with you, answer your questions, right? When you're going through the diagram and you're teaching them term versus whole, ask them what's going to happen. All right, 45, once that 10 years is up, Mary, what do you think is going to happen to that premium, that $30, $50 premium? Think it's going to go up, go down, stay the same? Make them answer. They're going to be like, oh, Thomas, does it go down? Oh, Mary, you're close. They're actually going to double on you. They toss it right up, Yeah, so that would be there. Another huge thing with term versus whole, you want to start price conditioning them now. All right, so in your slideshow, hopefully you guys be able to edit them. I would recommend putting at least I'm not sure what the other groups do, but at least $50 for a term policy and then maybe about $100 for the whole life policy. That'd be a good way to price condition. You don't want to show them too low on the term, because then when you get down to the options, for some reason they think the numbers we're showing them on this slide are our numbers, our rates. For some reason they think that. So price condition them a little bit higher, so that way when you're showing them a higher term, when you get down to whole life, and their whole life's 100 on here, and you show them $200, it's going to kind of make sense to them, right? So just get them the idea of thinking these numbers are big. Let's see what else I have on here. Keep it simple. Already said that, but be dramatic at the same time too. Be an actor. Show them what's going to happen. Mary and Joe, now once you get to 65, oh, Mary and Joe, two things happen here very frequently. All right. One, either that price just skyrockets, it gets way too expensive, it doesn't even make sense to keep it anymore. Or two is by far the worst thing that can happen, right? And that's your health. Your health is not what it used to be back when you're 35 or 45. At that point, you're a little bit too much of a risk for the company. And what they'll end up doing is they'll end up dropping you right then and there. Right. Now, Mary, do you see how that happens? And then bring your voice down a little bit, and, be an actor, be dramatic with it. Make them realize that this is a problem, 65, you're riding on term. You're not going to have any coverage. You're screwed at that point. Whole life, build it up. We already know that. We want them to get whole life. Let's see. Now, also with this one, I kind of jotted down. You don't want to be a college professor and just lecture. You want them to interact with you, make them tell you what's going to happen during the examples. And this is also where you need to really pay attention and read the people you're sitting down with. All right, if you're sitting down with Mary and Joe and you see Joe's in the corner just slouched up over here, but Mary's engaged, obviously you're going to be more attracted to talking to Mary because she's paying attention to you. But don't let Joe just sit back there, man. Call his ass out. Joe, what do you think is going to happen at 55 now? And wait, let him answer. Be like, I don't know. But okay, well, did you see what happened at 45? You see how it went up? What do you think is going to happen at 55? You think it's going to go down now? No, it's going to go up, and make him answer. Make sure, because you're in control. You're in control. And at the end of the day, you need both of them really paying attention to you. All right. Okay, we got that. Another thing, explain why whole life is more expensive than term. This is something I'll do right when I get down here. So let's say I'm going through this. And it goes boom, 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 X. Here's whole life. Draw out the line. Then we say we have 50. Say right here we have 100. All right. Say it's the whole lifeline right there. When I get down to here, I'll be like, okay, so now Mary, let's do the same example for whole life policy. All right, so let's take you back to 35, and let's say you sign up for a $100,000 whole life policy. All right, this time we'll use the monthly investment of $100. All right, as you can see, Mary, it will be more expensive than I keep it real. It's going to be more expensive than term, always. And I say obviously, right? Because it's going to stick with you and your family forever. I nod my head, and what do? They nod their head back because they get it. So you want to make sure that they realize right here, whole life is going to be expensive in term. They're not getting whole life for term kind of prices, right? So keep it real, keep it up front with them. But explain why. Because Mary, where was I going? So as you can see, it will be more expensive term always. Why? Because it's going to stick with you and your family forever, right? It's going to pay out 100% of the time. All right, but something a lot of people don't know with the whole life policy, Mary, is a big portion of that premium you're paying every month is like being set aside for you, like a little savings account that's building cash value for you over time, right? So not only do you have that life insurance for your family, God forbid, but you have this cash value accumulating over here. When by the time you get to 65, that's money you can take out whenever you want tax-free. Now let them know that right there. Keep it real. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. All right. Another thing.
That's at any age, right?
What's up, Mace?
That's at any age. You just use 65 because that's what our rate book stops at, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially if they want to borrow from it, they could, like, that third reduced paid up option. If you don't want to touch your cash value and you don't want to pay your premium anymore, that cash value will almost triple to your family. That's at any age, whatever cash value they have to take that reduced paid up option, right? That's not just 65.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, brother. I can't see you though, man. Where you at?
I didn't even know that it was still turned off.
You stud. All right. Now, another thing with term and whole, guys, we obviously want and we obviously recommend whole life, right? But at the same time, you guys don't want to beat up term too much. You kind of want to keep a level hand with it slightly, all right? Because obviously everyone's different. I'm not sure if you guys sat down with Ramsey fans. I sat down with a couple of them. You get onto this, man, and you try beating up term, and they're just looking at you like you're the worst person they've ever met in their entire life. So keep a level hand just in case. Because what if you're sitting down with them, and they already had a lot of whole life, but the one thing that they're slacking in is that mortgage that they just picked up. They're gonna need the term. You know what I'm saying? So don't beat it up necessarily, because just in case, because it could be that one situation where term is the only sale is the only thing that you can get out of that sit. If they're already loaded up with whole life, they're good on that. They might just want to take care of the mortgage, something like that. So always leave that door open, right? Show them that whole life is better, but still term is not the bad guy. It has its purposes, right? Make sense?
Yep.
Boom. All right. Now, another thing, your transition into the four concerns, it really needs to be very smooth and it needs to make sense. This is where I struggled when I first started. My term versus whole was good, but my transition to the four concerns, it just made no sense. It was really bad for some reason. I'd get people like just closing the laptop on me or something like that. It was rough, man. It was rough. I don't talk about it anymore. But yeah, so my transition to the four concerns, you guys are probably a lot different. Another thing, disclaimer, you guys, whatever I say up here, you guys do not have to use it in your presentation. I'm just trying to give you tips. We all do things different ways, but always do what your manager is teaching you to do. I don't want you guys to come do what I'm doing and then go up to like Vince or Gio and be like, nah, Tommy's doing this. And then he comes at me, barking at me. Nah, respect them. They've been in this business a lot longer than I am. I'm just trying to give you some tips that maybe you guys haven't heard before. A little extra sauce doesn't hurt, right? Now, transition to four concerns. So Mary and Joe, looking at term versus whole, which one do you guys think is the best option for you? They say whole, right? Like Mary, that's what I say. That's pretty much what everyone says when I show this example, right? But really, when it comes down to picking someone's life insurance, it really depends on the individual, right? We all have different needs, different finances, different situations. And since our company works with so many different unions, so many different types of people, we really want to figure out what were the biggest concerns to our union members regarding their permanent and portable benefits, such as life insurance, right? So what we did is we surveyed over 40,000 of different unions that we work with, and this is what they came back with as their four biggest concerns. Boom, right there. Makes sense though, right? Simple. I had that little sauce in there and it flows right into it. So that's term versus whole. Any questions on term versus whole?
Tommy, say that line one more time.
You want it one more time? Okay, I'll give it to you one more time. Where we go? All right, so now Mary, looking at term versus whole, which one do you think is the best option for you? She'll say whole. Like, Mary, that's what I say. That's pretty much what everyone says when I show them this example, But really, when it comes down to picking someone's life insurance, it really depends on the individual, right? We all have different needs, different finances, different things going on. And since our company works with so many different unions, we really want to figure out what were the biggest concerns to our union members regarding their permanent and portable benefits, such as life insurance, right? So what we did is we surveyed over 40,000 of the different unions that we work with, and this is what they came back with as their four biggest concerns. you get that, Mace?
And maybe even where people fail to plan the most.
Yeah, oh yeah, bro. No, talk. Yeah, you can add to it, bro. That's just keeping it very simple. That's like a very simple way to just get in that transition. You could definitely toss in a little bit more fire there if you have it.
Yep.
All right, now 4 concerns. Okay, how much time do we got left? Okay, let's go. All right, so 4 concerns, you guys. So this is where you make them realize how bad they actually need our coverage. This is where you open their eyes a little bit to kind of where they're actually lacking it. You know, so because a lot of these people are unaware that they're even lacking in these areas until we kind of tell them about it. You know, so be dramatic in this one too. We need them to understand that there's a serious problem that needs to be handled today. Okay, you guys cannot lose control in this section. Don't let them take away the seriousness of the problems. And I'm sure you guys have dealt with this before, like a union member when you ask them, Joe, you know, God forbid if you were to pass away, do you think Mary paying that $30,000 for that funeral, you know, would that impact her lifestyle a little bit? And he'll be like, nah, she can bury me in the backyard. I'll be good. You know, it will be all good. I'm sure you guys heard this a million times. And that's it. Don't let them do that to you because it's serious. They're going to play that card. You know, you could laugh a little bit, make them comfortable, but get back to it and be like, nah, Joe, I'm sure the last thing you probably want is, you know, Mary having to pay that out of pocket, right? Mary, did you want to pay that out of pocket? Would that be a little bit hard for you? And then boom, and then you just get your control back. Don't let them kind of joke it off, laugh it off, because what we're talking about right here, it needs to be serious. 4 concerns is meant to create emotion. They need to feel something when you're talking about this. They need to realize what they're lacking in, so that way you get them to make that decision today. If you don't do that with them, right, in the 4 concerns, that's when you get hit with, I want to think about it. If you do it right, what else do they need to think about? There's a problem that we just showed them right here that needs to be handled today. Okay. Now, the great thing about the 4 concerns, you guys, is they'll basically sell themselves right here. They'll do it. You know, when you're talking to them about their problems, what they're lacking and what they need, they'll sell themselves, especially if you ask the spouse the serious questions. So let's say you're sitting down with Joe. If I'm sitting down with Joe and Mary, I'm asking Mary how that funeral final expense is going to feel for her paying for Joe. You know, income protection. Mary, you know, God forbid if Joe didn't come home tomorrow, not only are you losing, you know, your husband, your best friend, but you're also losing 10, 15, 20 years of guaranteed paychecks already keep coming as well. Now, Mary, do you think that loss of income, would that impact your lifestyle a little bit? She's like, oh my God, yeah, I don't know what I would do. Boom. All right, I'm gonna circle that one for you right there. 3 to 5 years right there. But always ask them both, vice versa. So now I would ask Joe, now Joe, vice versa. God forbid something were to happen to your wife right here, your best friend, never saw her again. We're losing that income, would that impact your lifestyle? He'll say, yeah, you circle with them. Okay. All right. Now figure out what concerns apply to them, then make each spouse pick which are the most important to them. So let's say, let me switch up the markers real quick. All right, so say you're sitting down with Mary and Joe, right? And they have this one circled, and this one circled, but they don't have any kids for some reason, right? When you get down to this and you've already kind of explained what they need, I'll ask them, I'll be like, okay, Mary, so, you know, looking at these 4 concerns, really there's only 3 of them that apply to you today where you stand, right? It'll be that funeral final expense, that income protection, and that mortgage protection. All right, now, Mary, there is no right or wrong answer. I just want to help put together the right plan for you and for your family. If you could take care of 2 out of these 3 concerns to go to sleep tonight, knowing you never have to worry about it again, knowing you get to wake up tomorrow, never have to worry about it again, which 2 out of these 3 would be the most important to you and why? And make them explain why they're picking their options, right? If they have 3, I make them pick 2. If all 4 apply to them, I make them pick 2. If only 2 apply to them, I only have them pick 1. And if 1 applies, they're getting that handled today. Does that make sense? Following? Okay. Okay. Now another thing, before you make them pick, this is huge. I should type this up a little bit better for you guys. But before you make them pick, spend their money. Spend their money. Are we all doing that? Are you guys spending their money if they have coverage? Spend it all. Blow it all. Blow it all. One thing you guys always need to leave open though, no matter what, I don't care if they have 500, I don't care if they have $1 million in life insurance, leave open funeral and final expense. The FOC will be the one thing that you can save a sale in no matter what, even if they already have a shit ton of coverage, right? If they have a lot of coverage, the FOC can save a sale, right?
So what if they have a lot of coverage, but as part of the funeral, they are stuck on the whole cremation? If they're like an older family.
Oh, if they want to do cremation?
Yeah.
Okay, so they have a lot of coverage. They want to do cremation. Now it depends on the situation. Now, like what concerns like apply to them hypothetically? Would you say income? So it would be funeral file expense, income. Do they have a mortgage?
Yeah.
And they got a mortgage. Okay. Child education. Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. So I would go. I'd be like, all right. So Mary, looking at these 3 concerns that apply to you. Today we have funeral file expense, income protection, and mortgage protection. All right. Now, one thing we need to keep in mind when we're going over these concerns, you guys, is that coverage you already have in place, right? Because it's already going to help out a lot with these issues. Now, Mary, how much coverage did you say you had? Beautiful. All right. Now look at this, Mary. Check this out. So that 250,000, that's going to secure 5 years of your income right there. Boom. Don't have to worry about it anymore. Look at that. Now, Mary, you know what we're going to do right here? We're going to put a nice little X to that one too, because we don't have to worry about it anymore. Now, look at this, Mary. Now, really, the only 2 that would really apply to you now would be funeral file expense and that mortgage protection. Right? So now, Mary, there is no right or wrong answer. I just want to help put together the right plan for you and your family. If you could take care of one out of these 2 concerns, take care of today, you never have to worry about it again. Which one would be the most important to you? Mortgage. Okay, great. And then why do you say that?
For my family, for my mother,
Okay, perfect. And then roughly what was the mortgage balance on the house? 100,000. Okay. So right there, now you hit me with a curveball right there. I was hoping you were gonna say funeral file expense. Yeah. So in that case, I mean, you could still, I mean, if the mortgage is only 100,000, you still could rock the whole life. But maybe you could do a combination, just 30,000 funeral file expense, and then maybe like a 30-year term for the mortgage protection. How are we doing on time? They about to kick us out? Hopefully not. Still trying to go. All right. All right, guys, I'm gonna skip something real quick, and there's one thing I want to show you, and I was hesitant to show you this, you guys, but I'm gonna show you it anyways because I think it's pretty cool, and it makes sense. If you guys want to use it, use it. If you don't, it doesn't make a difference to me. But it's worked. So let's see. Now, when you're pitching them options, you guys done?
Tommy needs the link for.
Man, come on, bro. I'm just getting into it, man. Tell Tommy, hold on. Shit. All right, you guys. Hey, just request Tommy to have me back up here so I can finish this with you guys. I got some stuff typed up, man. Just request Tommy and I'll come back up here. Hey, but I appreciate you guys. We're getting kicked off. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. It was really cool to talk to you guys. I hope to be up here again with you. Let's rock it today. Who's got first blood? Who's getting first blood? Come on.
I got referrals on this.
Let's go, bro.
You do, right?